So, Amy,
Zachary.
Avery,
Zachary.
how do you guys feel about the great tradition of the Midwestern diner?
Love them.
Love
Love,
them. Made right? Hell yeah.
love them, love them.
Breakfast for sure.
While I love the made right, I think the made right's super interesting, very specific, very regionally powerful. I feel as if Iowa is leaning too far into the diner. I feel like I remember when I was in Muscatine, I was writing about like just how many diners there were in Muscatine County. And there were like 8 diners. There's like the Family Diner, there's the Mayberry Diner, there's Redberry Diner. I just feel like it's just diner after diner after diner. And I
I
wonder,
gotta go back to Muscatine.
the land of diners.
Yeah.
Should we prioritize something else? Or are you guys like pro diner in this way?
Why would we not prioritize diners?
Yeah.
I just feel like it's boring. I feel like greasy spoon restaurants are
You're
boring.
going to get us canceled.
Yeah, okay,
This is the one,
great.
finally.
This is why you bring me to the table. This is my superpower. And I think diners overrated. I think drive-ins and dives, great.
Damn.
Okay. Okay.
You don't have to come because they're popular without you.
Right. Right. They don't
What's
need you to
popular?
be popular.
What's popular? Eggs and bacon? Eggs and bacon? I can make that in my own house. What am I doing here?
Have you ever gone to a place and ordered like eggs and bacon and like the eggs are just gross and the bacon is like limp and you're like, why can't somebody make a good eggs and bacon? Diners like specifically diners that like the staff has worked there for 30 to 40 years. Specifically diners that are way too small and can't accommodate all the people that are coming in. Specifically diners that are like the portions are gigantic, so please don't order that many. Specifically the places that, like really don't have menus, or if you try to order off the menu, they're like, we don't have that anymore. Those places can make you eggs and bacon like you would not believe.
The
There's-
places where you walk in and you can see at least half of where the food is being made.
Yep.
And one of the people that is making the food looks to be about mid-60s and is wearing a dirty red paisley bandana tied around their forehead and tucked
Specifically.
into the back,
Yes.
and probably a Harley Davidson or some type of dirty motorcycle shirt with a few holes in it. You know that food's gonna hit. And
There's
yes, I'm talking about morgues in Waterloo.
Yes, absolutely. The newspaper clipping of like when the newspaper wrote about him is framed up on the wall. There's like some sort of sign that equates like not being caffeinated enough to deal with customers' bullshit, that sort of thing.
Yes.
So I love that y'all are talking so much, that your conversation, your defense of the Great American Diner is talking about anything but the food, right? It's this guy that works there. It's this
We're telling you this is how you know the food is going to be
What
amazing. So
I'm
when
telling
you're in a
you-
different
what-
city,
what I'm
you
telling
walk
you is-
in and you're like, that's it. I know the food's going to be good here.
food
Yes.
boring. Eggs and bacon, I can make that at home. There's one extenuating circumstance where I'm like, I will let the diner hang. Waffles. And this gets me to the point. This gets me to the most important part here. Waffle House does hit, right? I'm with you. Like the thing you were describing was like an archetypal Waffle House experience. However, I'm not going to the Waffle House for breakfast food. I'm going for a waffle. Occasionally an all-star breakfast, but like that's not since I was in college. Do you know what I mean?
And also maybe hurricane shelter.
It is a great HUD index for
Are they made of brick?
So the way the Waffle House index works, I wrote a story about it years ago. So one of the challenges with when you're in trying to respond to a hurricane is like, where do we distribute resources and when? When you're talking about a region that has been impacted by this tremendous storm, it's kind of hard to assess the like capacity of one town versus the other, who's doing worse and where. And what they discovered was that if the Waffle House is still serving breakfast, that tells you that water's still working. That tells you that electricity is still on. That tells you that sanitation is still where it's supposed to be. And so it's this like kind of like binary like sense, like, oh, we're trying to quickly assess the extent to which things are working. If they still are serving them T-bone steaks, then
Call it your local Waffle House.
then they're doing all right.
Working.
So
Good to go.
And so, much respect to the Waffle House. I just don't get the Iowa diner. I don't get the Iowa diner culture.
I would like to point out that a lot of these diners that you're talking about are family owned.
Ooh, that's interesting. Say more.
You're talking about Waffle House, which is a chain. Now maybe there's some that are franchises in Waffle House, but yeah, Avery and I are talking about Morgs, or name the diner near you, Avery.
Say the name.
The one closest to me that is like has diner in the name is the Red Roof in Piasta. Where I'm from, I guess. There's several other diners around Des Moines. But I mean, you're ragging on hardworking Iowan families right now.
I famously hate hardworking Iowa families. This is kind of part of my brand.
Generational wealth and generational community involvement, owning a local small business, and you're sitting here saying they're boring, and you're from Mississippi.
Can I change my argument a little bit to intensify it? Just to not same direction. I'm gonna make it more cancelable. Are you ready? Okay. Are you ready for this? Actually, my point is that the McGriddle perfected breakfast, and everybody else needs to shut the fuck up.
We're shutting this down.
Girl, shut it down.
What I'm trying to tell you is that the McGriddle sausage, egg, cheese. That's it. That's everything. Little maple syrup pancake top.
He's hopeless. He's not invited to the diners anymore.
Every time you walk into an Iowa diner, they're gonna be like, "Hey Zach, fuck you."
It's on site.
You're gonna be on every single Iowa diner shit list.
Here's your biscuits and gravy.
Yep. Have fun with that.
Come at me, Hamburgen. Welcome to Cornhole Champions, a weekly podcast by Iowa's Starting Line, where we throw bags at the state's biggest stories. I'm Zachary Oren Smith. Happy Wednesday. I'm joined today by Iowa Starting Line's comic crusader and semicolon superhero newsletter editor, Amy Rivers.
And Bear.
Hello, Amy.
Hi, Bear.
Hello.
And still caffeinated from brewing those takes, Starting Line's content concoctor, Avery Staker.
Still cooking.
Still Avery Staker. Avery's still cooking Staker.
Still
cooking steaks.
First story, some breaking news today. Christina Bohannan announced her campaign for Iowa's first congressional district this week, setting up what could be the third consecutive nail-biter for Republican Mariannette Miller-Meeks. For those keeping score at home, Miller-Meeks won by 6 votes in 2020. She won by 20,000 votes in 2022, and just 799 votes in 2024. If that doesn't scream a toss-up, I don't know what does. This race isn't just about Iowa. It's about the control of the House of Representatives, and both parties are aware of it. There's going to be a bunch of money. There's going to be a bunch of time, a bunch of operatives here in Iowa trying to move the needle on this race. I wanted to start with pointing out that Trump won this district in 2024 by 35,000 votes, while Miller-Meeks won by just under 800. That's a 34,000 vote gap between the top of the ticket and the House race in the same district. What is that? I mean, in my mind, that tells you about an enthusiasm gap between Mariannette Miller-Meeks and the Trump campaign.
Not to read, have to shade, but like when I think of Mariannette Miller-Meeks, I don't necessarily have like a definitive image of her.
Yeah, she's not like the Joni Ernst to make him squeal kind of thing.
She doesn't have anything like that. You know what I mean? Like it's not super surprising that like there's not so much enthusiasm, because I feel like this is such a backwards look on like how politics should work, but there's no marketing, you know?
When I think it like feeds into this issue that she had last year. She was in a primary with Republican David Pouch of Davenport, or the Quad Cities. Bohannan was kind of attacking her, talking about her stance on abortion, and we'll get there. Pouch was making the argument that she's not actually the Trump candidate in this race, right? That she did vote to certify the election, and there's just been kind of these like ongoing narrative about the extent to which she she backs President Donald Trump. And I think you see it in the way she works on social media. There's just a lot of videos. Anytime she gets a chance to try to get like FaceTime on video with Trump, you'll see her like desperately trying to get into frame of a camera saying something to Trump. We can play one video right here.
Partisan bill that has this massive investment in computer chips, things that have to do with competition with China. It was interesting that he chose in the chamber tonight to go there.
Wondering what it was like on the floor tonight. Scott McFarland, you are there. Give us a peek, Scott.
I don't know. Right now when President Donald Trump is the leader of the Republican Party, he carries immense power, decisive power for this race. Having that endorsement is like maybe of singular importance. I can't think of. Terry Brand. Who cares about Terry Branstad's endorsement? Who cares about Governor Kim Reynolds' endorsement? Right. There's really one voice that matters, and that's our king. Shout out to the No Kings protest over the weekend.
Shout out to them. It is weird how he's become sort of this like litmus test of, are you a good Republican? Like, are you a
good witch or a bad witch?
Are you a Republican? You know what I mean? Like everybody's, we'll talk about this more with like the governor race, but like everybody's trying to get a piece of the Trump marketing pie of associating themselves so closely with him and his campaign and his image and his administration that like it's bound that some people are going to look a little desperate while they're doing it. Cough, cough, Mariannette Miller-Meeks. Like not everybody's there's only so much to go around, and there's only so many good strategies to latch onto that.
Totally. And the candidate running against Miller-Meeks is Christina Bohannan. Christina Bohannan's a constitutional law professor from Iowa City. Kind of brands herself as coming from a working class background, but she's an academic and has been she ran a really interesting race back, I think in 2018 was when she took on a multi-year incumbent Vicky Lensing for her state house seat. But she unseated kind of like long-term incumbent with the argument that you're not doing enough for the district, and therefore you got to get out of here. She followed that up running against Miller-Meeks in 2022. This will be her third time running against Mariannette Miller-Meeks. And already, I think I posted a thread on Twitter about this announcement. And not one, but like three people immediately said back, like, oh, running for a third time was, getting stomped once, not good enough. I like to remind folks that Mariannette Miller-Meeks ran in 2008, 2010, and 2014 before finally winning by 6 votes in 2020. So, I think it's important to put a rerun in context.
Well, and I also think like the idea that you run once and you lose and then you drop out forever is a dumb one. And I don't know why Democrats are doing it. Republicans certainly don't do it. I mean, yeah, like you just said. And I think Bohannon's right to do it. I think the more you run, the more your name gets out there, and then you have name recognition, and that is everything to a politician. So keep running. And I mean honestly, like I want to see like more people that run for governor and have run for Senate and have run for House do that again, because like now they're known quantities. Now people sort of know where you stand on the issues, and now they're more likely to back you, and so you can get that early numbers game going. So I think like there should be more losing, honestly.
Especially that winning gap being closed so much with the same candidates. Like, she went from, if her first time running for this spot was in 2022, lost by 20,000 votes, not as recognizable of a name. But now that she had that, and it went from losing by 20,000 to losing by 800.
Yeah.
Pretty large.
That's a huge gap. Like that is a really big difference for just 2 years as well, and in a district that has 240,000 non-partisanly registered voters. Like that's a huge jump that she made. So running again is not surprising.
I think it's a good idea.
I think anytime if a candidate waits for the winds to be just right for their race,
That part too.
the election may never come, right?
Yeah.
I'm kind of with you all that. I would rather see someone run multiple times than because it shows grit, right? It shows that you learn a lot in the process of running a race. You learn a lot in the process of talking to folks, getting on the road, and like actually like meeting folks in diners.
That's right.
Where they,
The best place to meet folks.
I think it's important, right? Because you do develop a lot of experience that way. And I mean, I know we don't like the idea of career politicians. We don't like the idea of like folks who all they do is campaign for office. But like at the same time, that's a skill set, right? And if you're looking to run effective campaigns on down the line, do you want to just depend on DC to send some staffer to like descend upon Iowa and then leave the next day, or do we want like to grow that infrastructure here? Do we want to grow that power here? I think the choice is clear. So just to close this up, this is a district that should be safely Republican based on the registration numbers in a state that's already trending red. But still, in this race, it keeps producing these photo finish races. Whether Bohannan can finally get across the finish line in her third try, or if Miller-Meeks can expand her margin and put the seat away, it's going to tell us a lot about where American politics is heading and where Iowa as a state is heading. And with House control probably hanging on just a few seats, kind of like this one, this is going to be a really important race to watch. And so with that, we'll take our first break.